Three sisters,
each with one brain cell.
And way too many opinions.
Join us and grab a cup of tea.
Or coffee. Because here, the tangents are strong.
And the topics are a little questionable.
Welcome to
the three brain cells. That's perfect.
Welcome back to episode number 33 of the Three Brain Cells podcast.
Three brain cells.
Yeah, mom.
Was that a surprise? Oh my gosh, are you surprised now? You're like, whoa, rebranding who?
That's right. They didn't know.
Excuse
They
you?
didn't know. Well, no, they didn't know.
Same content, same people, just a different story kind of thing, you know? Like, it's all good.
Better title, better name.
It fits us. It fits the vibes.
It does fit the vibes.
Yes,
Same
Jazz
content, different story.
Shh.
Was I the only
You
one
run by that one.
that?
No, you weren't, but you're
Run by
supposed to
that.
run by it. Just
She
let it
did.
go. No, I caught that. I was like, you know what?
That's why there's only 3 brain
I'm gonna
cells
let her
and
back.
not 4, okay?
Yes. If we could have had a longer title, it would be the three brain cells, but most of the time less than 3.
It doesn't rhyme.
None of it rhymed. The three brain
Never
cells.
rhymed.
Yo, what?
You know what I mean? It's just a flow.
Yeah, I.
No der. A duh.
That's the point. It should have been the 3 brain cells, or at least, at most, 3 are present.
She finds herself really funny today.
He just said, or at least at most.
Yeah, she did.
Okay, miss.
Yeah,
Same concept.
I'm calling you out because
Sorry.
you're calling me out. Like, don't even.
Oh, bless you.
Dab on them.
Okay.
When the last time you slept? Like, giving sleep deprivation and like,
You are. That's what it is. She's giving sleep deprivation.
Sorry, guys. Sorry.
Man, it's gonna be a crackhead episode if it is.
Just perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, also, I just want to give a shout out to the day that we were recording this, or the day before the day before the day that you listen to this. It's Stitch Day today, bro. 626. It's 626.
it's actually really
Oh, wow, I didn't even know that's what day it was
So,
today.
I'm using
It is. Oh my god.
Shout out to Stitch.
I didn't know that was a day.
Me neither.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently I was on brand with it. Because I found my
So-
Stitch blanket.
Yeah.
Oh, so
I'm always on
cutie.
brand with it.
Did you get that recently?
No, I've had it.
Oh. Well. That's cute. I don't have any Stitch with me right now.
I always do.
It's on my keys.
Now you always do, yes.
Yes. Anyhow, what were we talking about? Right. 3 brain cells.
Or the lack thereof.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe we should have called it We Need Brain Cells. We lack brain
Give
cells.
me your brain cells.
Yes?
Munch.
Munch?
Mm-hmm. Like how a zombie eats brains, we
Mm.
eat
Oh, I see. Okay.
We need brains.
cells. Brain cells.
Yeah.
Yes.
Guys,
Brain is made up of.
Yeah, but not brains. Brain cells.
you guys have both watched Marshall, right?
No.
Oh.
I have, considering
She
I
suggested it
recommended
to us.
Yes,
and
I know. That I said both. Both. I knew Sully did, but both. Well, anyways, I guess this will only hit with Sully. I'm at I just watched the episode yesterday where they stopped doing the end song thingy where they're like chocolate Costa. Oh wait, it's the other way around. But whatever. And I was so sad. I was like, no, I look forward to that. No,
That's funny.
I'm sorry.
Man.
But yeah.
Backstory, Judging. The main character loves cream puffs, and so the end song is like cream puff and the filling chocolate and
All
custard.
things cream puff.
Mhm.
You know, it's so sad because it was not as exciting anymore, but it's okay. Sorry, that just came to my mind for some reason.
It's okay.
Thank you.
It looks like you're gonna say but.
Yes, I was. Wow.
But what?
I was just gonna say we can start talking about what we were gonna talk about.
Part 2
Part 2.
of us enforcing our dating opinions upon you so that you become more like us because we are
Exactly.
right and you are wrong and there's nothing you can do about it.
Exactly. You heard her.
It's giving Matilda, isn't it?
It is. But it's, you know, that's a good movie, so
Yes,
can't be upset.
facts. So, I feel like we left off somewhere around when to get engaged.
Yeah.
Oh yes, we stopped at getting married. If you're not getting married within the first year of your engagement, then you just need to move on.
Yeah.
Peace out.
And the
Or just
engagement.
accept the fact that you
Either way,
be-
within a year, max year and a half, the engagement has to end. Whether it's by getting married or by breaking up.
Unless there's
Ending the
some like extenuating circumstance. Like
Yes, like
during
COVID.
COVID was a
or
good
what if you get in a
example.
car accident?
Yeah, like if there's
Yes,
someone's
obviously.
injured
But if
or
both of you are of
sick.
sound mind and body for the entire first
Mhm.
year of your engagement,
You should be married.
you should be married by the end of that year.
I can even understand though, like if a family member, like if you're really, really close with like your
Dies.
mom or something and they're
Or
sick or
sick.
they're like, then it would be like, okay, maybe I want to push it back or something. That I can understand.
But it also could be like a whole situation like I want to push it forward because like I want them to be here for it.
But if you have some sort of financial means, it doesn't even have to be that big of a financial means. Tiny little budget even counts. And you're capable of planning a wedding and finding a date to get married within the next year, you shall be married.
I agree.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
Now, okay, do you feel like this stage, if they're planning to have kids or want kids, do you feel like the stage at which they start having kids, one obviously depends on age. I feel like not all the time, but usually depends on age.
Yeah.
But then, does it depend on how long they've been together or how long they've been married? Because I feel it depends on how long they've been together. So I feel like if you've been together for a while and then you get married, I feel like it's not a far leap to be like, yeah, we'll have a kid within like the next year or two.
I also feel like it depends on age though for a big like if you get married and you're like in your 30s and you want like as a woman I guess like if you want to have your own kids and you want more than just like one or two kids like I would say yeah you should get started.
Mm-hmm.
I think,
True.
but even more than that, it just kind of depends on your life experiences that you want to have.
Yeah, that's
because
true.
there are some things that you're gonna have to kind of give up once, not give up, but like
No,
Right.
maybe push to the side for a little bit or something once you do have kids.
Yeah.
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 True.
Yeah, I guess it does depend on like what your mentality is once you get married. Like, have I always thought about getting married and then it just being us two for like at least a year or 2 years or whatever, travel and stuff? Because then you'd want to wait.
And then I think it also depends on like, were you living together prior to getting married? Because if not, then I would say hold off on having kids because like
Right.
you need to get used
You need to
to
get
just
used to that, yeah.
sharing your space.
Dynamic. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
with your loved one, and then
Yeah.
to even think about bringing a child into that space before you have like finally come
Yeah.
to terms with living with them, like
Yeah, and then
that
like
would be
baby
rough.
proofing and like making space for a
You know, setting up a
human
crib,
being.
things like that, like
Yeah.
dedicating a whole room to a child, or
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
it also depends on your financials. I feel like sure, you may never be truly prepared to have a child, but like maybe not be living in like a 1-bedroom apartment kind of situation, like
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
things like that.
Like that won't ease your situation.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ooh. I feel like this is probably a conversation you should have before you get married, but definitely
Agreed.
make sure that your parenting styles are like,
Align to some
Mhm.
degree.
yeah, like they don't have to be exactly the same, but they should align. Like,
And
because,
maybe run through theoreticals. Oh, you know, like how like in grades you always see them like, oh, patient is like presenting with these symptoms. What treatment would you give? You do that with a child, right? You'd be like, okay, child does this. How would you
respond.
approach that situation?
Ooh, that's a good idea.
I feel like that would be needed because it's like, how are you going to act on the fly? And then this way
Right.
you can just kind of like prepare your mind, you know?
Right.
Like, sure, that may never be how it is once it actually comes to the situation,
Mm-hmm.
but at least you have something to like kind of fall back on and be like, I've thought about this. Like, I know what I would do,
Mm-hmm.
and like, let's give it a shot.
Yeah.
And I think just also recognizing that no matter how you parent, like, I saw this video, it was like, you're never going to be the same parent to each of your children.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's just not possible
Yeah.
because
Because they
not
each need different
only,
things.
well,
Mm-hmm.
it's that, it's also like, even if you could be the exact same parent for, have the exact same financial status for each child, have exact same everything, they are a different person. And so they are going to perceive the things that you do for them differently.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's a good point.
Yeah.
And so it's like, even though you may be raised the exact same way, it doesn't feel the exact same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
Which was just an interesting perspective. It's like, oh, wow, you never really think about that.
Yeah. Hmm. That is interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe
Mhm.
that's why middle child syndrome exists because all those children are being raised in the setting of having like an older sibling.
Well, not just that, an older sibling, but a younger sibling.
Do you think middle child syndrome truly, like
Yes.
what?
You're
As the
asking a
middle
middle
child.
child. Yes.
No, I was gonna say, like, does it get worse or better, or does it not matter when you change the age of the children around them?
I
Oh, interesting.
I
Yeah,
guess
So,
you,
like,
yeah,
per
I guess I
se,
don't know. Like between me and Riz.
well, like, what if Tegan was 5 while you were just born, and
yeah.
then Rosarin was born? Oh, sorry.
Mm,
The next child's born
yeah.
5 years after you are around,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Okay. I
versus
guess it does.
having
It
one
does. It
after
does
the
Yeah,
other.
probably,
change.
I would imagine. I would
Yeah.
imagine it would have to.
Yeah. Especially because, like, if you have an accident child, like, obviously the child before that one was going to be presented as this is my last child. And so that's how they're, staggering the other children. And then all of a sudden, whoops, however many years down the line, I wasn't
Yeah.
expecting another kid.
Do
Or
So,
you
like,
think it would be better though to have your children back to back to back, because then they don't necessarily get used to the feeling of I'm the only one, like I matter the most right now kind of thing?
yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
maybe.
to a certain extent, I don't know. I feel like that would still have to be a big gap because I feel like by the time you would like actually have like a conscious perception of that and be able to like grow from it and like change your personality, I feel like you're in like kindergarten or like first grade or something.
I
So,
don't know.
I
Because
mean,
your
in that
brain's
aspect, I feel like
always developing. Like it's developing
5
the most
years.
when you're a newborn. Like all of
Right.
these different things. So it's like I feel like it would
Yeah.
have at least an impact on your subconscious mind, which is where I feel like these things stem from in the first place.
And maybe even like an impact on your personality,
Yeah.
like who you kind of are as a person, how
Yeah.
you
I
perceive.
don't know, but half of me also just like thinks, yes, it's how you perceive it, but it's also like how like the parents treat the child. Because like if they know it's their last one, you know, I feel like, or like it's or if it's their first kid, I feel like a little more emphasis goes into that than like if they're like, oh well, this will be like a middle child, like we know we're gonna have more. You know, I feel like, you know,
No, I don't.
I guess
or could you also make the debate of each child, doesn't matter how far apart they're going to be, each child is still going to have like a symptom of their order, because first child was all the first. Mom and dad were getting used to having children, what it's like to have a child, how to raise a child. Second's like, I can get in the hang of this. And then third is like, yeah, I got this. Fourth is like, I can do this with my eyes closed. If you keep going fifth, sixth, and seventh, you're like, what's another one? But you know,
maybe, I don't know. Because I imagine still like even if you had your first child, like yeah, the second one and the ones after are gonna be maybe slightly easier in the aspect of like, okay, I understand that every time they have a little bump, I don't need to run to the emergency department or like those things. But like they're still gonna be completely different children. Like you hear so many people talk about like, oh, my first child slept through the night, but my second one wakes up every 2 hours. Like it's still going to be completely different parenting journey, even for the parents themselves. So I don't know. You know, it is interesting because I was just thinking when you brought up the age difference thing about like one of my friends who found out that she's going to be she was an only child and then found out she's going to be a sister when she was almost 20 years old. Like in that case, because then she ended up getting another sibling later on, but like that one was a middle child, but almost would kind of get like older child treatment in that scenario, I feel like. So
yeah.
like how does that
Yeah.
Well, more specifically because there was a third child
Yeah.
into the mix shortly after the second child.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
like
so it's almost like the first child like has only child syndrome,
yeah.
the second child has oldest child syndrome, and then like the
Yeah,
third
like
Yeah.
child has the youngest child syndrome.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it'd just be interesting to kind of like observe
Yeah, like different
middle
The different
children.
dynamics.
Yeah.
yeah.
Or even like those like families where like they have two kids and then like, I mean, I guess kind of like ours, but like, I mean, at least 5 or so years go by before they have like another kid or something like that, and like that youngest kid's kind of like the last one like starting high school while the others are finishing college, kind of dealio, and it's like you know, so it's
So
like
our
that awkward.
family?
Kinda, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that's actually, yeah, good point, good point.
Yep.
I forgot about that with you two.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
you finished
literally,
college
Oh
or
yeah,
before Sully
good
finished high
point.
school.
well, yeah.
Wait,
What?
I
Yeah,
forgot
well,
about
she was
that.
just saying just me and you, and I was like, but even you
I thought
two,
I thought
like,
we were saying like starting high school while you were finishing college kind of thing.
oh yeah, I
'Cause that
guess
was true.
that was true. You were
But then it
starting
was
high
like I
school.
was just in high school and you were
She
finishing
was in high
college.
school.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I guess I mean your guys' age gap, but like as if like there wasn't me and Riz in between.
I
If
mean, it
me and
feels like
Tegan were
that
the only
sometimes.
ones,
Yes, if you and Tegan were the only ones with that age gap.
That was a joke, but okay.
so if mom and dad only had two children and it was just me and Tegan.
Correct. But there was the whatever year age gap in between you guys, the 6
It's like
year
8 years. It's 7.5 or something like
seven and
that.
a half.
I feel like I feel like the relationship would be still pretty similar to what me and Sully have. I mean, I've maybe like a little closer when you
Right.
were younger. I guess I was younger at the time too, but like
We both were younger.
I don't know.
when we were
I
younger.
feel like it would probably be about the same because I feel like
Yeah.
when you are younger, you're going through so many more life stages, like closer together,
Yeah.
that it's like I can't relate to you, you can't relate to me because I was
Right.
too far in the past or whatever. It's like
Yeah.
I'm my own person now, but
Yeah.
it's like as
Yeah.
we've gotten older, it's been easier to understand.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And get along and stuff
That's
like
true.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I only say maybe a little closer when younger because there's not the siblings in between
Yeah,
to
that
like
you have.
to connect with
Yeah.
or be around or talk to at all in general. So
In other words, it'd be a more forced relationship.
I don't know about that
not
necessarily.
necessarily.
I'm kidding.
I would say maybe it'd just be more like hanging out with your friends more often
Yeah.
and not having your sibling around your friends.
Yeah.
Cough, cough,
Yeah.
Jasmine.
That's not fair when we're practically Irish twins. Like, that's not fair. Also, like, it wasn't my fault that no one in my grade wanted to play the sports I wanted to play. And
No
that they
one said
all
it
happened to be in her
was.
grade.
No one.
Wait, what? Okay, that was true for softball.
And then basketball, for the majority of the time we were there, it was only 2 people.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was really only the grade below her. The
Well,
grade
there
above.
wasn't very much for me either. There was 3 of us.
I feel like there was like 5 of you.
On
You
softball,
crazy?
the people we actually hung
Oh,
out with,
Not
it was
softball.
everybody.
I was thinking basketball. Sorry. No,
I'm just trying to think.
softball.
I guess softball was the grade above me and the grade below me. So it was your grade and then the grades 2 below
Why
you.
can I only think of 2 people, me and one other person for
I
softball?
feel like a lot of people who played softball though played basketball.
Okay, that's
Not at
not
MCA.
necessarily true. It was like
Oh,
the 2 of us.
Sorry, not at that place.
It was the 2 of us, and then okay, I don't. Can we say names? Like people are like if we just say first names.
I don't know. Can you
Does this work?
give?
Anyhow.
Ooh, you can do initials.
SP.
Ooh, now I gotta think. Oh, I know who you're talking about. Okay, what about them?
She was on basketball and softball.
She was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See.
I don't remember her being on softball, but okay.
Now I don't remember everybody's.
Wait, who are we talking about now?
Tall, lanky.
Oh, she was on softball.
See, she was not softball.
Not okay. She was when we first started.
Yeah.
For like the first year, and then she stopped.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does that count?
I don't know if I'd count that, Jasmine.
It counts.
It was like freshman year for me.
But
Okay, fine, sure.
I don't know if it was freshman year. It was like the year.
You can
after
just
that.
yep,
Okay,
keep
maybe it
going.
was sophomore year. Whatever.
Either way.
Okay. Yeah.
Either way, because like that was our core group. Because it was like her and then BA,
Yeah.
which was also in your grade, who played
Yeah.
softball,
Yeah.
and then there
Name
was
another. Who?
R.
MC, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Oh wait, MH. My bad.
Yeah,
MH.
MH.
Oh yeah. Wow. How did I? Wow.
And
See,
then
my
there
brain
was.
isn't working right now, guys.
Why can't I say
L
R?
R LR.
No,
Is it?
R
No.
whatever. R.
L. I can't think of their last name.
Can you describe them? Because now I don't know. Who
RW?
RW.
Why can't I think of her last name?
Can you describe this person?
Ate a
please?
whole pizza.
Oh.
Oh, H. RH.
RH. Yes. Okay. Yes.
And I'm thinking of Shorty with the red hair.
Shorty with the red hair.
Named after like a statue? L?
Wait. Now I'm really confused. L.
The statue
Oh,
of
not my grade though.
Yes.
That was below Jasmine's
D.
grade.
LD. She was the grade below me.
E.
So was K. Dang. What was her old?
B.
B. KB.
Anyways,
I love how this is going.
What is the point of all this?
Yeah, what are we talking about? She's trying to say that I had a lot of people in my grade.
Yes, you had a lot of people in your grade.
Okay, so
Yes.
there was 5.
Like we had
if
the
you
same
count
lunch period,
SP.
and think
There's
about it.
5 if you count SP.
Okay, here's the thing.
For
At
one
lunch,
grade.
though, the people from softball that we hung out with were SP, BA, HF, and RH, also MH. That's 5 people from your grade that I'm not even
Yeah.
counting you.
Justin, you hung out with everybody in my grade when we went to school together.
Not really. I just hung out with some of them.
Justin, you hung out with, even when we had classes together, you hung out with me and people in my grade mostly.
Yeah, because I was playing sports with y'all. I knew y'all. We had a connection that the others didn't. Also, I identify as older than my age.
What? That's crazy. Why would you do that?
Cause I never can be my age. I either have to act like I'm from like the 70s and 80s, like
Because
a
that's
little
music
grandma,
and things like that you like.
That's a choice.
or I have to act, or I'm acting like I was born yesterday, like a child.
Again,
Yep.
choices.
You're the one who watched Glee and then became obsessed with all the old music in that.
Good music.
Anyways,
Anyways,
this is so besides the point. Like,
yeah.
Some queen.
Jasmine, you even if it wasn't like
I
when
was just my own person.
like even before high school, I would have friends over. You would try to hang out with us. This has nothing to do with sports.
To be clear, I had a lot of my own friends at that time.
you just preferred hanging out with her friends.
No, it was just her friends were over. I wanted to hang out. Yes, because they're cool, because they're the older than me, okay? Is that what you want me to say? Is that what you wanted me to say?
You could just
I
admit
liked
that-
hanging out with the older kids because it's cool.
Okay.
It's a cool thing to do. I
That's
didn't
fair.
just do it with her. I exploited my basketball relationship with AD. You probably don't even remember this one. But, I thought I was the coolest one on the court because I'm like, AD is like, I'm like her little protege. Yeah, I told you y'all wouldn't get it.
No, I'm
When was
trying to.
this in high school?
No, when I was in like elementary school, junior high, playing travel.
Oh, I'm sorry. You thought
public
you were her
high school.
protege?
I was like her little
Wow.
protege. She constantly told me I was her favorite, and she was like, I'm like, I really want to shoot
Totally.
threes like you, and she's like, let me teach you, and like we were like,
Think back to when I was in middle school and I had a crush on this guy, and it's his older sister.
Oh, when Rashina got let
Yep.
into the gym? Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's an example. Yeah, children. I think you your relationship with her was closer than she probably thinks it was.
definitely,
She was
probably.
also just a really nice person, wasn't she?
She was.
Yeah,
She was
I
so
mean-
sweet.
Maybe it was just like
I really looked up to her.
Yeah, I think so. Calling yourself a protege, like her little protege, is wild, though.
Bro, y'all are
It's
wild.
wild.
Don't at
really
me like
funny,
that.
actually. Anyways, where were we in all of this?
Talk about ego.
Engaged, married.
Yeah,
or
why
married,
did this come up?
married?
Oh,
we're talking about
receiving
kids.
Middle child syndrome.
talking about
Yes, and the
kids.
yes. Why did that come
Okay.
up?
You
What?
brought it up, I'm pretty sure, but it's okay.
Chill.
No,
Okay.
because then we were saying that if you only had 2 children, like me and Teen's like age gap, and then it was more of a forced relationship, and I was like, no, you'd probably just be hanging out with like your friends more often. And then I was like, and then you wouldn't have a sibling that's always trying to hang out with your friends. Cough, cough,
Yeah.
Jatrin. That's how it all started.
Wow, thank you for
And
that.
she took serious offense to that.
She did, and she tried to prove herself, but she didn't. You proved Sully's point, so it's
Yeah.
okay.
Ever.
Hey, it's okay. No one's judging you.
Except for maybe yourself. I don't know. But yeah. So you have children, now what?
Right.
Yeah, what do you do after you have kids? I don't know.
I mean, I feel
Give
like
up.
we kind of also skipped like the buying a house if you're gonna buy a house. Like
Did you say we skipped it?
Yeah, like when are you going
You're
on?
the one who brought up children as the next step after marriage.
That's
You
true.
did.
That's true.
Okay.
When
So
are we going on the
you
same
skipped.
lease or mortgage together?
I
Like,
think it depends
Ooh,
on.
that
like
depends. Ooh, that so depends on so many factors.
no, and I agree. I agree. Like, okay, are we assuming? Okay, let's just assume we're already living together, right? We're in an
Prior to
apartment.
marriage or after
Prior to marriage,
marriage,
at marriage, yeah.
we're living in an apartment.
Okay. I have so many questions though. One, if they were living together prior to marriage, where are they living? An apartment, a house? Do they want to
You just
stay
said
in
an
that
apartment.
place?
Okay, let's bring this to the table during their engagement. Okay, they're both living in wherever they're at with either roommates on their own, but separated.
Okay.
And
No,
then,
but actually those facts matter so much.
yes,
Do they have roommates? Is it an apartment? Is it in a house?
Okay.
it
Anyways,
doesn't
it
matter.
doesn't matter.
It
At
does.
some point during their engagement, both of their leases are expiring.
Oh, then they move in together.
Yeah.
Right. But now, here's the thing. Do you think, I mean, I guess it also depends on like your financial situation and like
Correct.
where you're going within
I
life.
think
Okay, fine. Let's just say they get an apartment together after.
Okay, sure.
Okay. They get an apartment together and then we're married. At what point do we think about getting on to like a mortgage together? I feel like that's most people's goals is to get into a house, not be in an apartment
Depends.
forever.
I really do think this depends because if neither of them have ever bought a house, then I say you use the first time house buyer opportunity for both people. So one person should be named for the house they buy
Got you.
and then save that second person for the next time you want to
Yeah.
if you want to if I don't know what. But let's say someone has already lived in a house or if they both already had their own houses, then whatever feels right to you. If that feels right, I don't know. I guess it depends too on the couple because some people don't bring their finances together like at all.
That
Which
is
I
true.
think is right. And I don't know. For me personally, I just think it would be a sense of security making sure
Okay,
your
hear
name
me
is
out.
on the mortgage.
Oh, no, yeah, for sure. They can't like
Just
kick you
in
out.
case.
I agree. I have your back for some cases. Okay, hear me out though. So like having 3 accounts essentially. So like you each have your own separate account and then you have like a joint account.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
I
That
completely
you
agree
put
about that.
that you
'Cause,
both
like,
put money into for paying the mortgage
Paying
and
bills and
electricity bills,
whatnot and
whatever.
All sorts of
child,
bills.
whatever. Yeah, what have you, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like I don't need to see how much you want to spend on coffee or what have you during your day.
Well, yeah, and you
Like,
also don't want to be using your joint account to buy presents for the other one. Otherwise, it's going to ruin the whole
Right,
thing.
exactly. I think the only time that if you're using your personal account and like there should be a discussion is if it's like a large purchase.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you don't want them just going and like
or
if
a
you're
long-term
financially-
purchase.
Well, I guess it depends on how expensive it is. Because, like, if you're going to buy a rice cooker, that's like a long-term purchase, but
Yeah,
it costs like
That's true.
$100 if
Yeah.
even. If
I
you get
was
it
more
retail, it's less
thinking
than that.
like
A
a
dog.
pet
yeah,
or like yeah,
That's expensive though, because that's maintenance in the long run.
yeah.
that's true.
So, in my opinion, that's a purchase that costs like $10,000+
Right.
in the long run. You're paying
Yeah.
for your vet bills. You're paying for.
And
the
I would
food
imagine
bill.
that's something you're not going individually to go get
That's true.
because as we've talked about, don't get animals as gifts, please.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's a conversation you already had anyways.
Or it's like if you've talked about it for a long time and then it's like it just hasn't seemed feasible yet, then I suppose getting it for them as a gift, like once it is.
Yeah, I guess okay, that can be an exception where if they like expressed, I really, 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 really want to have a pet. I know exactly what kind of pet I want. I'm ready for it. Blah blah blah.
I think she was just talking about expensive gifts.
No, I was talking
Oh,
about
you're
pets.
talking about pets. Oh, okay.
I suppose both kind
Yeah,
of go hand in hand.
Yeah,
Like,
because in my head, I'm thinking like, especially if it's like a gift kind of dealio, like you can still have the discussion afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, unless
Get
unless the reason is financially we aren't ready for it, then
Yeah.
then in that case, don't do it because I know I'd be
Or
upset.
not even financially, even like emotionally, like maturity and like relationship wise, like can a relationship add more? You know?
Now we're talking about pets again, or we did what?
Oh,
Wait, what are you talking about?
I thought we were talking about pets.
I thought we were just expanding it to everything, but
Okay.
I suppose yes. Yeah. Because I
Yeah,
feel like adding a pet is low key, kind of like adding a child. Like
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
it's
it's a commitment.
it's a
100%.
commitment, and it's gonna be less work in the long run, but like it is still like
Right.
initially like
It's
you
a lot
have
of work
to be
because there's
there with that
training
pet.
classes,
Yeah.
there's vet bills. Mm-hmm.
Training classes. If you go down that route, then yeah.
Yeah, I just know like if you're doing a rescue, a lot of rescues require training classes.
None of the dogs we've gotten from
A lot of dogs I know that have been adopted, and even the one I have, little Scoots, required training classes.
Okay.
oh well.
But yes, grooming, you have vet bills. Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
lot that goes into it.
Mm-hmm. Then food.
Plus, I feel like people don't think about this much, especially if you've never had a pet before. But like, they're gonna get older, and
Mm-hmm.
you can't just ship them off to a
Nursing home.
nursing
Well,
home like you
some
do with your
people do.
parents. Like,
Ship them off to the farm.
and like, it's so sad that people just surrender their pets because they're like, "Oh, I didn't want to deal with this stage." Like,
Right. It's not even this stage. It's like these vet bills, because yeah, they are aging, just like any aging being.
yeah,
Like they need
and you're
more
gonna have to
medical
deal with that.
attention. Yeah.
Like, dogs deal with vision loss, hearing loss, probably dementia. You know, all the
Yeah. I
things.
actually just learned the other day there was a woman who came in with her like a dog, and she's like, yeah, she has to retire in like the next month. She's showing signs of dementia. I'm like,
Oh my gosh, that's kind of so sad.
I know. I'm like,
Oh.
my little thing, you're getting dementia.
Like how
Like,
does that
what's a dog with dementia?
it's like really sad though,
It's
like
just
for the owner because
Takina was the dog with dementia.
like then
Shiloh.
you can't keep the dog because you have the dog to help you.
Oh,
Oh, I mean, they
yeah,
could
if
keep
it's
the
an
dog
aid.
as a dog and then just get a new
But
a
that makes
dog.
their life so much more difficult
Yeah, I don't
when
know.
they're already
Just
Or
get
it's
an aid
possible
dog
that there
for
is
your
a
aid dog.
rescue.
It's just a never-ending cycle.
It's so funny. It's like I got a dog for my dog, and then I get a dog
Yeah,
for that dog. Yeah, but no, maybe there's a rescue that's like
I'd assume so. I'd like because kind of like ex
yeah,
police
service animals.
dogs,
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah,
like they can't always do their job.
Yeah,
So
it's true.
man, that's sad.
yeah,
Dang.
Even more sad that like, especially like in the military, those dogs like are bonded to their handler, and like if their handler dies, like that's the end. Like that's their
haven't you
retirement.
seen those videos though? Like those dogs will literally be crying on their grave.
Oh, I know.
It's
It's
so sad.
insane. And I know mine would not. You could throw a pork chop the other direction and they're bolting. Like, it's like that lady who
That's wild.
it is wild. It is. And then they beg for my attention. Like I'm the only person in their world
Because
when they're
you are.
hungry. Yeah. But if someone else was holding the slice of meat, I wouldn't be. They wouldn't care. They probably wouldn't even remember.
Okay. I I don't know about that, but
Okay, I more think Scooter wouldn't. Scooter would not care.
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, he's high energy, so
Yeah.
and he definitely gives like ADHD,
He does.
but that doesn't mean he
Okay.
doesn't have a like strong connection to you.
Yeah.
No, I guess that's true. Just Bina always likes to cuddle, so she's always right next to me. That's on separation anxiety. It's okay, she's on meds.
Yup.
Okay.
Which
Anyways.
actually I've learned
Okay.
lots of dogs are on meds. It's a normal thing. We
Yeah,
can
the
normalize
same
this.
way a lot of humans are on
Animals,
meds.
exactly. Animals being on meds is a normal thing.
No one said it
It's
wasn't.
because of people that they have to be. Let's be clear on that. If they were their normal, wild, natural selves, they wouldn't be having separation anxiety.
I don't know if that's necessarily true.
Yeah, I don't know.
You think that like wild animals like have oh, wait. Okay, yeah, I can see that. With certain animals. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess I'm thinking with dogs specifically, like they're very loyal types of dogs. So like
Mhm.
or
Okay.
types of animals.
That's
So
fair.
I could
That's fair.
imagine like
That's true. So in other words, people helped the mental health of animals that are domesticated.
I don't know about that either.
I wasn't gonna
Let's,
say that, but
let's just move on at this
I was
point.
hoping we could like gather to the fact that maybe people did one thing right, but okay.
No,
Can we
really
name
didn't.
one thing? Nah, fam. Now we can't.
no, guys. Oh my gosh,
Put dodo birds out of their misery.
people stress me out. Like everything that's been going on this past
Oh
week
my gosh!
has been.
Can we take a moment at the fact that on a weekend Trump decided to work?
Okay.
Also, the worst work he could have done. Which is probably why he shouldn't be working on weekends or working at all.
This is not what I was talking about at all.
What were you
I don't
talking
care
about?
if he works on a weekend. I'm talking about bombs and like
That's what I'm talking about. He worked on the weekend.
Because he did it over the
He did it
weekend.
over the weekend.
that's just really not how I would have phrased it. At
No, me neither.
okay. I saw this video though where this person is like doing a little skit and they're like, "Oh my gosh, did you just hear? Trump dropped an F-bomb." And they're like, "Oh my gosh, what?" And they're like, "Yeah, I know, crazy, an F-bomb." They're like, "Oh my gosh, what does an F-bomb do?" They're like, "Wait, what?" They're like, "Are we okay? Like, how much time do we have?" And they're like, "No, just like an F-bomb, like on TV." And they're like, "Oh my gosh, it's an F-bomb." And they're like, "Oh, no. Like the F word." I realized what I just said, how that would have been interpreted in this context. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so funny.
It is funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, but either way, killing people is never the answer. Let's be clear on that.
No, it is not.
Also, can we just give a shout out? Was it to the Netherlands queen and her snatching fit in that NATO photo?
Really?
If you haven't looked,
Really?
go look.
That's what you're concerned about?
No, it's not what I'm concerned about. It's just like, okay, can we also give a shout out to how stupid Trump looks? But
Okay, this is besides the point. I'm sorry, but like
right.
when
Bombs
you
are never
choose
the
to
answer.
blow up nuclear like factories like that, it's like what good can come from that? You know, like if you miss, now you're gonna get bombed, and if you do it, now there's radiation in the air. Like
There's radiation. Also, you're putting how many millions of people at risk because you're like, my junk's bigger than yours.
They don't care. That's
Like I felt like I was stabbed in the back. It felt like this should have been a family discussion. and not a one-off.
Bro, he didn't even
don't know what to
consult like Congress or
Congress
whatever.
advised against it, and he still did
just
it.
did it on his own.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I felt like this should have been a poll with the American people.
Yeah, so that's like never how that happens.
Yeah,
I'm
what?
aware, but you're putting my life in danger. You need to ask if I want to sign up for that.
That was the whole point of the election. And unfortunately, the majority of America kind of failed you on that.
Y'all put my life in danger. Florida, Georgia, how all you Southerns, Texas, Alaska, you
Wait,
put
what?
my
sorry.
Wisconsin.
The way she goes,
Michigan,
all those southern
Southern
states.
Texas,
put
Alaska.
my life in danger. Pennsylvania? I don't know.
Red.
Whoever turned red that was blue and should have stayed blue or should have turned blue, you put my life in danger.
Do you hear this? You put Jazrin's life in danger, everyone.
Yep.
Jazrin and Jazrin alone.
Yep. Everybody repent.
You
for
should
their
feel
sins,
bad for
and-
this.
Now, all the people who should be repenting are the people who actually don't care because I'm black. So,
Which
let's
I
be real.
think is probably
this is a
not
big
as many people as
conspiracy.
you
They
think
put
about.
our lives in danger. All the white people are in on this, and now they all have like bunkers deep, deep, deep underground, and they're like, we're ready for when they strike. None of these other people are, and this is
How
how
many? Wait, what?
white supremacy like
What?
trumps us all.
What?
Pun intended.
What? That makes no sense.
They act stupid, but really they know what they're doing.
2. We're down to 2. 2 brain cells are left in this. Like, no. Mm-mm. You're done.
Tried.
You're done.
She tried.
Wait, so how did this come off of weddings and
Yeah. You know, I've been trying to
Oh,
get us back to
dog.
that this entire time.
pets?
Sorry. No. Let's leave
Right.
pets. We're done with pets.
We're
Moving
done with
on.
that. Moving
Big
on. When do you
purchase-
decide to retire?
No, my gosh. We're not there yet. Oh, my goodness.
We skipped a step.
What are big
Skipped
purchases?
many steps. What are big purchases?
Cars.
House,
Yes,
cars,
A
planes.
number, people. A number.
Oh!
You
I would say
said
anything
what?
more than a
I'm gonna,
paycheck.
like, whack y'all upside the head and like
Actually,
slap
half a
some sense back
paycheck.
in
Yeah, I
I'd
you.
was
say
gonna
any
say,
more
hold on
than
a
like
second.
a quarter of a paycheck. I'd say anything more than a quarter of a paycheck.
If I had to personally put in, because it can be different from people to people, couple to couple, especially depending on how much
Right.
money you make. If I had to put a number on it, I'm imagining back when I made money, okay? I had to put a number on it. Anything more than $500 would most definitely have to be talked about. Honestly, $300
I was gonna say $300, $400.
personally. But now if I made more money, no. Even still, like, what are you buying that costs that much, and why do you need it?
I
Okay, but
definitely
what
say
if
the
it's
limit
like one of those things
$5,000.
where it's like our vacuum broke and I'm out and about and like I'm gonna
That's
get a
like a
vacuum.
$200 purchase.
See, even that is a simple text or call. Like, hey, I know we need a new vacuum. I'm out. You want me to grab one?
I feel like there's caveats there. Like if we're splitting up chores and like one of your like things is not to vacuum, I'm not consulting you about the vacuum that we're getting. Just like if your thing is doing the dishes, you can choose what kind of dishwasher we want. I'm just gonna pick on aesthetic.
I don't think the math is mathing here.
I don't know if I agree with that one, to be honest, because I'm imagining other things that like let's say one person cooks and now it's I cook, so I'm not even consulting you on what the groceries are or what we're having for food.
No,
I'm not
I'd
saying
imagine
not.
it'd be more like I'm not consulting you on what cookware I have,
That's
what oven
more
I
what
have, what microwave we end up having.
Yeah. What fridge? If you don't consult me on a
How big our
fridge.
pantry's gonna be. Like, I don't know. I think there's a lot that goes into these things, and I think it's also the fact that, like, even though you may be the one most often doing that, you're probably not going to be the only one doing that. Sure, you may vacuum 80% of the time, but there's probably times when you're like, I don't want to vacuum right now. I'd rather do the dishes.
True.
Yeah.
And so you switch.
Yeah, that's true.
And also, if it's that big of a deal about vacuuming, get yourself a little thingamajig that goes around in the middle of the night and that does it for you.
Roomba.
True.
Then you don't gotta worry about it.
This is true. But yeah, I mean, I personally think that's a simple text or call. Like, it doesn't take much for that.
No. Yeah.
Like, it doesn't even, like, it never has to be a long conversation. Like, if it's a big purchase, it doesn't have to be, like, if you're both like, hey, we need this, we have the money for it. Okay, cool.
Let's
Like,
do it.
That's fine.
True.
But I guess, like, things that, like I'm just imagining, like, our gamer guys just the PS6 coming out and be like, I'm getting this, or like whatever the next Xbox is. And
I mean, it's assumed though at that point, like they know it's coming out and they've already consulted their partner.
I would
being
imagine because
I'm
they'd
getting
be
this when it's
talking
coming
about
out.
it and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I can imagine me being like, no.
You problem in this trio right now.
What?
That's only a you problem in this trio.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Plays PC. Yours plays on Xbox,
Oh.
PS5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah.
Needs to
All
have it
those.
in the Switch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to minimize those things.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
so
we can all agree around like $400.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
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 Why? What would you say, Sully?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Solid.
Because here's like what else I'm
Sorry
thinking,
about that.
especially like if you have a family and stuff like that, like how would you lump in like groceries? Groceries will for most families run up the $300-$400 mark. Like
See, that one depends on how big your family is, but two, I also think it depends on your family dynamic. Like, because there are families where it's like one person does the cooking and they do the shopping, and like it is what it is. And then there's other families who sit down every week and are like, okay, let's plan out what our meals are going to be, and so like the groceries make sense.
yeah, that's
There-
true.
Yeah. So I mean, it really just depends. I think on your family dynamic.
I feel like meals should be planned. Snacks should just be like, I'm in the grocery store. That snack looks real good right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it'll probably look good
Yeah.
another day too.
Yeah. No, I agree. Meals should be planned, and unless there's like a snack that like consistently is eaten in your house, and you're like, oh, running low, grab that.
Yeah.
No, well,
Meals should be planned when you're hungry. Shopping should be done when you're full.
when you're full.
Yes. Okay. I was like, where are you going with this? I was like, oh, I don't know. But yeah,
Yes.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Because yeah, when I'm not hungry, I'm not in the mood to plan meals.
Mm-mm.
But when I'm hungry, I'm not in the mood to get good foods.
Exactly. You just want to grab whatever's in
I just want
sight
the
that looks
cheapest
good.
Anything that looks
and the
good.
And
brownies.
that seems like it'd be kind of quick and easy.
Yeah.
Because I want to
ramen
eat it
noodles.
now.
Ramen noodles.
Ramen. Anyhow, okay.
What comes after that?
Okay. I guess like
Kids.
your kids grow up and move out. You're empty nesters.
That's true. Well, and then the other thing is, do you decide to keep them in the nest until they want to leave, or do you boot them out?
I think if they're still in the nest at the age of 24, 25, 26.
I'd give 26. Yeah.
I say 26 only because that's
Health
when
insurance?
yeah, like you're booted off health insurance, so you're booted out of everything. You can't.
Well, I'm just
can't
thinking like you
multiply.
graduate college at 22.
Yeah, I was more thinking at least like by like 25, 26, you have gotten a few years of hopefully a job under your belt. You've been
Yeah.
able to save up, and now you can
Yeah.
look towards being able to move out
Yeah.
and affording everything
Hmm.
when you're moving.
I was saying 26 is the latest, but ideally it would be
Yeah.
25.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By 25 would be ideal, but 26 is the latest.
And I think that as long as they can prove that they're saving their money and like working towards a goal, I
Yeah.
wouldn't make them pay rent or
Mhm.
anything because it's like,
No,
Mm.
unless your goal is to like take that said rent and like save it for them.
Yeah. That would be the only reason.
Right.
And it would be nothing beyond what they can
Manage.
like manage personally, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Agree.
But yeah, I don't know.
So then what comes after that? What in
Oh,
life?
okay.
okay, they're
They're
I
gone.
say retirement.
the two of you.
Yeah, probably retirement and or grandchildren at that point.
Yeah.
Right. Do you move near the grandchildren? Do you just travel more to see the
So
grandchildren?
depends where your kids
Yeah.
move.
It depends on where
That's
your
true.
kids move. How many kids do you have? Where do
Yeah.
each of the kids move to somewhere different?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, then I stay right where I'm at.
Pick my favorite child. Oh yeah, stay where I'm at. I'm just kidding.
Hit the
crazy.
middle so that it's an equidistant trip every time you go.
What if you hate the middle?
Yeah, that's what I was like.
What if the middle is like Iowa?
And honestly, like
Or not?
if you're retired at that point, then it's kind of
Montana.
like, to me, like,
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
yeah, you
Yeah.
just pick where you want to be for the rest of your life, and they visit you sometimes, you visit them sometimes. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
See, in my head, my ideal spot for retirement of where I want to be is where I have been, because it better be paid. Those bills better be paid.
Oh,
Oh,
you want to stay
yeah.
in the same house? I was like,
Yes.
okay, yeah. I was like, what? What do you
Like, my
mean you
bill's
want to
been
be where you have
paid.
been?
yeah, but yeah, like yeah. Personally, I think like what unless your kids express that they would like you nearby,
Yeah.
let them have their lives like they're adults.
Yeah. And if they want to be nearby, they'll move back.
That's
Yeah.
what I was about to say. I'm like,
Or
shoot,
they'll
if
ask
they
me to
want
move
me to
near
be
them.
nearby, they can be nearby me.
Valid.
Just so for real.
True.
I'm on the last leg of my life. You're just starting yours.
Yeah.
Rude.
But then they're going to give like granted, it'll show how much they actually want to see you. But like, especially if they're starting a family, it's hard to travel with kids. So you kind of have to give them the benefit of the doubt there.
But you can make it work.
Yeah. But anyhow. So there's that. Now what comes after that?
Death.
What do you leave for your children? If anything.
I think it kind of depends on who you are, what you have.
True.
Because like if I have a ton of money left, I'll probably end up donating a lot of it, but I'll give some of it to my kids.
Yeah.
I don't want
I
to
guess
like,
it depends because if my kids are fine, then
Yeah,
I'd probably give it to their kids.
Yeah,
rather
like
than giving it to
grandchildren.
them. Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say the grandchildren, or set up like a college fund for like whatever you were passionate about or passionate about other people going into, and
yeah.
you know.
I don't know. I mean, like, because I don't want, like, that wealthy inheritance.
No mindset. You
Yeah.
don't need to act stuck up. Get down to the ground and stay level with it.
Yeah. So, like, I don't want to, like, overwhelm, like, children with, like, a ton of money. Or, like...
I'm not gonna lie, though. You say that, but wouldn't it be nice if you were that child right now? That
Yeah, if I was that child.
money.
But I don't think I'd give them access to all of the money at once.
Well, no.
I think if they had any debts, I would allow for however much that they have in debts to go towards that and that only. And then from there, maybe like, I don't know, I guess it depends on how much you have that you're giving to them. But like every however many years you
Very
give
much.
them this much, and so X amount is dedicated to a savings. Like
Yeah.
That's true.
Because I wouldn't want to give them all that money and then them blow it. Like,
Right. No, I completely agree.
Maybe I divvy it up so that each person of my blood relative, until the funds run out, gets to have 10 grand from the funds as a down payment on their first house.
and you think $10,000 is going to be that much in the future?
Well, I figure that'll at least cover 3%. If they want me splurging on a house, they better have the funds for that. My money better just get them a small.
Wait. 10,000 per person in your family? This includes your kids and their spouses?
No, because in my assumption, by the time I die, my kids better already have a house.
Okay, so just grandchildren. So how many kids do you want? Because like, what if you end up with like 15 grandchildren? That's $150,000, bro.
I mean, don't you think you're dying with way more money than that? Especially if they're selling the house and stuff.
I don't know. I'm gonna use my money when I'm retired. Go
No,
be traveling, eating nice.
Yeah, but in
my
theory, your money
mindset-
should be making money.
Yes, is that my money's making money and I'm never running out of money, nor am I able to spend that much money in my retirement age.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I guess. Okay, but then what about like let's say you have more grandchildren after you pass away. How does that work?
Well, until the funds run out,
What do you
other
think
people
the
can be
goal is?
adding to
No,
this.
what? You can't just like prepare for the future. Like
Like,
you're
as
really-
other people die, they can be adding to these funds. Like, we can just set up a whatever bloodline fund.
That's crazy.
Fund. When you die, you add. That's how that goes. If you want,
Stop. That's
if
wild.
you benefited from the fund, you add to the fund.
That's
I suppose if
wild.
that's the case, then you
It's
can
paying
set
it
it up
forward.
so that it goes to your children, but your children are only allowed to
certain
give it
amount.
to their children.
That's true.
Like you could do it like that.
Yeah.
So then that way, if they do
better
have
way
any
to-
more kids after you're gone, then it can still
Continue.
be given.
That's true.
Yeah.
True. So
Yeah.
you die, and then
Otherwise, you just say, screw you guys. Like, you better be able to make it as I did. Like, I worked for what I got. You can work for what you get. And then you just do it to help other people instead. Because you're like, I know that you've been raised in a way that you are capable of taking care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to go to the less fortunate.
That's a good point. Yeah.
It's a great point.
Yeah. And then hopefully you'll
have
ascend
instilled
to
in them
heaven.
enough humanity and like
Humility.
all the goodness, humility, there's that too, to take this with grace
Yes.
and be real with it. Be like, I don't need it anyway.
And then hopefully you ascend to heaven.
Hopefully. Hello?
Amen.
Yeah,
And with the-
hopefully.
And with the note
I
of your
can't speak
death,
for everyone solely.
and with the note
Yeah,
of your
hopefully.
death through the life of your relationships. Hasta vista, baby.
Yep, sure.
Okay.
Well-
Alrighty.
That was supposed to take less than half the episode and took the entire thing.
I know, right?
You're welcome. 3 brain cells, here to
But
play, here to stay.
At least we followed
Every day.
through on
Our
part
promise, we did.
2.
Hopefully, I feel like this is the first time.
I think it is.
You're welcome. We threw your
I
photo
might be just
Is there
actually.
definitely other things that we said we'd make like
Oh yeah.
part
Oh,
2.
we'll talk about that next week, and then we did talk about it.
But maybe
Sorry,
it's all
guys.
our plan.
yeah.
Sorry.
And
Yeah.
Then you
Wait,
have to go
what?
back and re-listen. Figure out which episode you have to re-listen to. You
Yeah.
have to re-listen to all of them.
uh-huh.
That's interesting. Okay.
See you guys
Well.
next week.
Have a great weekend.
Have a wonderful weekend. And then it'll be the start of July.
Yeah.
Thanks for surviving another episode of Chaos.
Don't forget to follow, comment, give us 5 stars, and share with your friends.
Or don't. You know know us, we'll probably still be here talking anyways. Bye.
Bye.